Hey, hey, hey! All right, so my nails are all funky right now. I've got to go and get a manicure, but that's not gonna stop me. I have some cards laid out and my photos primed and ready to go. I do not have any sense of direction today with this particular layout. I'm just going to play around a bit. I did pull out a handful of cards, but I really didn't have a color scheme in mind. Just gonna, see where the scrapbooking mojo takes me. So I have a couple printables of some 3x4 cards that I was pondering using. In the end, I go for some other printables that I've used before and they were already cut out. And they are from the In a Creative Bubble shop. Travel log prompt cards. They're really, really nice. And if you have not been to In a Creative Bubble, check out the shop online. She has a nice collection of 3x4 cards. I think some 4x6 and even some little printable embellishments as well. I've ordered from her or the digital items a couple of times. But looks like first up, I'm going to go ahead and pull out some printable labels from Studio Calico, and I want to incorporate some labels into the layout, but I'm not exactly sure where, how, or what I'm going to do here. So a little bit of trimming, and I just have, the corny foot photo. And I do this occasionally as a filler photo just because I knew this was a pretty light week. And so one of these type of photographs, it's just a little bit of filler. There were some new tennis shoes, but I don't even think I journaled about that. It just added another photo to the layout. So total transparency on my part. So I cut that label in half and adhere it down to the photo. And I use Ali Edwards' little card there, or what are they called? I'm going to look them up for you. They are Small Adventures. They came a couple months back, but the paper is a really hefty paper. So anyway, I use that. The only thing you can see is the heart, but I wanted to embellish this particular card a little bit more. I'm all out of my black StazOn, which is going to cause me problems a couple times with this layout. So I'm using this other black ink. It's okay, but I just have to be very careful because it smudges unless it's completely dry. And then two staples. And that 3x4 card is done. So next up, I am going to, let's see, play around with the photo of my son holding his driver's permit. OMG. I mean, you guys who have followed me for a while, you know I'm a really kind of kooky mom. But the whole driver permit thing and my child driving, it has just got me, oh, my panties are all tightly wound up. I'm stressed and I'm proud of him because he's a good kid all at the same time. But anyway, he's got the permit, and that was last Friday or 2 Fridays ago. As of tomorrow, he actually starts his driving class. So I'll be holding my breath going forward. This is just a random photo of my little guy after he finished playing around at the pool. And I wanted to add yellow at this point. I've got the yellow printable label, those yellow LUV love spelled out on one of the cards. So I thought I'd take a little bit of twine and add the yellow twine to the top of this card. That did not work. Not at all. And so I'm going to leave it there for a while, and then it's going to mysteriously disappear because I hated it. Um, so that's where we are now. And let's see, I'm going to place this other photograph down on this other printable card that says travel log. So the one with my three fellows walking across the street, I thought the Here We Go printable was very nice. And then the travel log paired up nicely with the photo of the National Monument between, it's this opening inside of the African American History and Culture Museum. And so it's this really cool shot that I was able to take. and I wanted to include that. This is my third time going to the museum, but back in the city again. It was a beautiful sunny day, walked around a bit, and so I included a couple shots from my trip into the city. That is one of the most wonderful things about living in the Metro DC area. We are not that far from the city, and when we want to go into town for some great food or just to see the museums or some other cultural event, we have so many wonderful options, and often they're free, which is even better because I love free. Okay, so I've got this cork piece from Ali Edwards' most recent story kit. And I thought that would be a nice compliment to this 3x4 card that says bonding. And actually, it was a 4x6 that I chopped in half because I knew I wasn't going to use it as a 4x6 card. So I placed that card and the cork between the two photographs of my husband and sons when we were out for Father's Day. One looking normal and one with them being a little bit kooky and silly. So now I'm trying to see if I can use one of these white pieces. I keep them stored in these containers. Some have dates, which largely come from Studio Calico, or days, the months. And then others just have some random, the words from Ali Edwards' story kit collection. But all of them were too large to fit on a 3x4 card. But I did find the word three, which a couple months back, was in one of the Ali Edwards story kits. So that works perfectly with my three fellas in the photo. And I'm just going to adhere that down. And I lucked out because I did not even check to see if I had an M and a Y. But yes, 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 I did. And that card is done, my three. I guess I could have said something else, but that was good. That worked. So at this point, I'm really actually struggling a bit, I think, to find some additional embellishment. So I'm going to play around and dig through my collection of items and try to figure out what else I want to do with the site. All the photos that I have are already down, so it's really a matter of filling out the rest of the layout. So I'm going to go through my stash a bit, look for some additional card options, and see what else, tickles my fancy. So all these kind of rainbow-esque cards I'm digging, but they do seem a little bit much. And even now looking at this layout, it's a pretty busy layout. So I think I was also struggling to find a way to just mute it a bit. The photos all have a lot going on. And so I ended up going with this blue and white card, and then that Live It Up, which is white and silver, and that's from an older Ali Edwards kit as well. So I thought I would try that. And it's funny looking at it now. I actually really quite appreciate that yellow and white card, but I'm not going to stick with it. I'm going to switch to something else, and I'm not sure how to embellish it. So you see, again, I'm just kind of playing around a bit because I don't know what I want to do. So I'm thinking maybe the heart would be nice. It's a white heart with a little bit of stitching all around the side, but I'm not going to go with that. So I take one of these 4x6 cards, which I do frequently, and I chop it up, and I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. And so that fun stamp, I think, is from this month's Ali Edwards Stories kit. Yep, it is. It's a nice big font, which I like, and a little blue star to just accentuate a rather plain card at this moment. So I'm not sure. You see, I've chosen to use yellow really as my accent color for this spread. And since I have that silver and white in Live It Up, I thought that I would pull out this other silver and white card, but it's got the whole kind of wood impression on it. And I thought that might work well also because maybe it's not too busy with additional colors. So I'm going to keep that, but now I'm trying to figure out additional embellishments for the remaining cards in the layout. Playing around with a few stamps. I feel like I want to include some more cork since I have that large Starbucks burst cork piece. But I need a stamp that's going to fit on that 3x4 card that's not too large. And I decided I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let me put that fun back. So this is a stamp. It's also from the Ali Edwards, I think, Fun Collection. I'm going to use some white stays on ink. And you have to reapply the white ink to the pad. And then I'm going to stamp an impression onto the cork. There's actually a little bit of writing on it, but that detail is not going to be visible on the cork, which is fine. And that stays on ink is really tough to scrub off, but I did my best with my little wipey, and I'm going to put it back. But that's step one. So step two, I'm going to take a little bit of black ink. And again, the ideal would be to use my black stays on, but I'm out, or it's too dry. And then I'm going to stamp a little phrase. I'm going to do it twice and pick the best one. And so now I've created my own little cork embellishment for this card. And I thought I'd put it up at the top, but then I decided, I don't want to do that. And this particular cork already has a sticky backing, which is really nice to work with. And I'm pondering whether or not I actually want to bring in a label. So I think this small label will be a very nice fit for the cork embellishment. I'm going to do a little trimming here. And I figure out it'll fit, but then I decide, that's not what I want to do. And unexpectedly, because I didn't even know I was going to do that until I did it, I adhere the cork down on the left side of the photo, and then I'm going to place the little label at the top, which I actually think worked because now I've got two labels, and you'll see I'm going to add another in a moment. And I'm also going to pull out this printable. This is from Studio Calico. I think I've used it before with you guys. And I'm going to trim out a word. It says captured. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom of one of these photos with my fellas, just to add a little pop of punch, or a little punch of pop, or a little punch of color. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so then I thought that maybe there was another printable that I could trim out and add, but I didn't like the way that one looked on the photograph. And so I'm going to skip that. But I do want to circle the words. And these are some new little markers that I've discovered. Oh, who are they by? The marker is a Frixon Colors Erasable, which I thought was pretty cool. And I can use them on my layouts. So next up, if I can get the sticky part off, is to adhere the Live It Up embellishment to the blue and white card. But I'm not done yet, friends. So here's another set of the printables. Again, this is in a Creative Bubble shop. And rather than use the entire card from her travel log prompt cards, I just trim out the top piece, which I think makes a really nice embellishment. And then I'm going to put a bit of cork on the back just to pop that up a bit. It's a little thinner than the kind of pop-up tape that you can buy. And so it doesn't make my layouts too bulky. And then there you go. And so I thought that was a nice addition to that 4x6 photograph. So I am nearly done at this point. A few other things. I have this one card that I thought was a perfect fit next to my son holding his driver's permit. It says, "This story deserves a whole lot of colorful confetti thrown in the air." And I don't have any confetti, but I wanted to add just a little bit of something in the corner. And so there you go. A little bit of glitz, and it's silver, so I thought that that went nicely with the other silver that I've incorporated into the spread. Okay, so what's next up? I'm almost there. Okay, I'm going to add one more printable label. And generally what I try to do, actually I'm going to add two more in a moment. Generally what I try to do is on every card, I try to add something. That doesn't always happen. And the something can be very small, but just a little bit of something. And a lot of times it's just because it's fun for me. I mean, if you scrapbook and project life, you could be done with a whole week in 5 minutes, but the process is enjoyable for me. And so I often prolong it, but I like kind of picking out the embellishments that are rocking my boat. So last little thing I want to do before this is all done is just to add the date or the week number. And then I'll go do the journaling and then I'll show you the end. And here you go. So I journaled and printed that out. And here you go. Thanks so much for stopping by and for watching. As always, hugs to you. And I hope you are enjoying your summer wherever you are on our beautiful planet Earth. Toodles!